Situating this in proper perspective, as quality starts as route and means of updating the society through good governance, protection, advancing for citizens' rights, and the creation of an enabling environment for the democracy to thrive, the media on their part operate within the prevailing environment to engage the public sphere, thereby expanding the frontiers of freedom, which enables the citizens to have access to quality information that will influence their judgment and decisions for sustainable democracy. Informed citizens who understand the current complex global environment are likely to feel more empowered, exercise their democratic rights, and accept outcomes of free and fair elections. For this to be realized, the media must be free, independent, and professional in an attempt to contribute to the electoral agenda by requiring politicians to respond to the public and to focus on subjects of great public interest. Media can also play a vital role in reconciliation processes in a democracy as evolving like ours by ensuring that divides are bridged through accurate reporting, breaking down stereotypes, covering of human stories, and presentation of solutions. Which envisages a peaceful and secure country, and which was an Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and rule of law. Why city officers of media potential to promote peaceful, just, and inclusive society, sustainable development goals are being pursued on ground people, all these UN member states, to ensure public and active civil society organizations, among others, does not suggest that the present democratic experiment is totally healthy. There is need for continuous improvement of the electoral process, and particularly the conduct of our elections, nomination process of candidates for elections, nipping in the bud the recurring electoral violence, vote buying in elections, conflicting court judgments, and court-induced electoral outcomes. Enlarging citizen participation in governance, quality service delivery, accountability and respect for due process, respect for individual and collective rights, and respect for rule of law, among others. The deficits being experienced in our young democratic system can be attributed to prolonged militarization of the polity and the low level of citizens' political education and consciousness. For a long period, Nigerians have been under the military rule. The psyche of the political elite, as well as the entire population, have been infected with militarist and regimented culture of arbitrariness, characterized by executive fear, absence of accountability, and total disregard for the will of the people. In effect, the general population seems to be subdued into silence, resignation, and apathy, unable to summon the will to call to question the unacceptable state of affairs in some quarters within the system. The political landscape has eloquently manifested political misbehavior, such as electoral malpractices, tyrannical attitudes, bad governance, disregard for the rule of law, stealing of public resources, increased deprivation, personalized state power, and gross ineptitude by some elected officials. All these manifestations notwithstanding, media in Nigeria has contributed in no small measure to political discourse through which they educate, entertain, and disseminate information that has tremendous impact in the political space, mass mobilization, and cultural transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, having been to situate the roles of the media within this context and the forthcoming 2023 general elections in order to ensure the achievement of the much expected consolidation of our democracy and good governance. The Independent National Electoral Commission, as a statutory organization tasked with the responsibilities of conducting elections in the country, has engaged the media as a critical partner through stakeholder in order to give the widest audience possible to voter awareness, sensitization, and programs to processes designed by the Commission to elect a new administration into elected positions come 2023. The media is a critical partner to stakeholders towards the achievement of free, fair, credible, and transparent election, has a significant and an essential role to play for the sustenance and consolidation of democracy and good governance. A free and fair election does not only mean just conducting elections and having the right to vote, but it is intended at how well informed citizens are about the political parties and candidates and their manifestos and policies and their previous electoral participation and practices, so that citizens can be able to make informed choices. Media is one of the sources of such information. Furthermore, media acts as a critical watchdog to democratic elections, safeguarding the transparency of the process. Indeed, a democratic election with no media freedom or stifled media freedom or under the influence of bias is a great challenge for democracy and elections. Independent, unbiased, and robust media is essential for ensuring transparency in electoral processes, accountability of elected representatives, and for enhanced people's participation to achieve long-term objectives of better governance in society. A watchdog should be able to point out flaws in the system or process and consequently come forward with a pragmatic and possible alternative. Not necessarily to criticize, this is the least of its duty. The criticism must be constructive and point the way forward. It therefore follows, for a watchdog to be effective in its duty, it must clean itself, shun off corruption, and avoid any form of smear and smudge. This is probably the first role the media must play to guarantee Nigerians free and fair elections in 2023. The media must first do a soul searching to be sure it does not constitute itself into an appendage of political party, or worse still, usurp the functions of the electorate as umpires. Those his decision, his views, and opinions on the rest of the society. The media dictates public taste. It ensures that the principles of fairness and balance in their coverage of political party campaigns and activities are observed. The media must actively pursue and promote good governance by elected officials as it strengthens democratic and state institutions because of its focus on human rights. Good governance encourages popular participation in national affairs, which allows for the inclusion of citizens in law and policy-making processes. In this way, it creates the space and empowers citizens to hold elected and appointed public officials accountable. Similarly, good governance also enables civil society to become actively involved in policy making, which leads to the wider representation of societal interest in decision making. This was aptly noticed on the road path to having the Electoral Act 2022 passed by the National Assembly and assented to by Mr. President. The media has critical roles to play towards ensuring the separation of powers between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary, as it leads to the independence and effective functioning of all these three arms which constitute the government, thereby promoting good governance, creating a conducive environment for the provision of adequate resources for the courts, parliament, law enforcement, and justice delivery institutions, among others. State institutions without which, among other state institutions without which the rule of law will be retarded. In a nutshell, therefore, good governance is a system that ensures the visualization of popular participation, including people with disabilities, strengthens women's political representation, ensures free media, and makes public media accessible to all, thus resulting into the creation of a governance system that is responsive to the needs of the population. When democratic and state institutions are strengthened and are effectively and efficiently functioning according to the rule of law, the end result is that the delivery of basic social services to the people and overall effectiveness of the government are enhanced tremendously. Another area where the media should focus is the fight against corruption to promote good governance. Corruption may be defined as the abuse of entrusted public power for private benefit. The panacea to corruption in all parts and levels of society is good governance, that is, the exercise of authority through political and institutional processes that are transparent and accountable and encourage public participation. The media should intervene to offer citizens adequate and accurate information about government and its policies in order for corruption not to violate the public right to be informed about government activities and procedures, and compromises the right to political participation. Corruption weakens the accountability of state officials. It uses transparency in the work of state institutions. It deprives citizens of development and allows human rights violations to go unpunished. In a nutshell, corruption weakens democratic institutions. Holding government accountable, therefore, is a constitutional requirement of the media, so that as managers of the resources and wealth of the people and protectors of the life, liberty, and property of the citizens, the government should be seen to deliver the goods and services for which they have been elected or appointed in the first place, and this is a cardinal role of the media for the entrenchment of good governance